Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of It Gets Butter. I was so fortunate to sit down with kind of a new friend in the last couple of years, Lauren DuFault. She is high energy, and I love her for that. We get into some spirited conversations. She's done so much, she's lived so many places. She continues to produce shows. I know her from stand up comedy, and I love her stand up. I hope you enjoyed the episode as much as you can clearly see. I enjoyed doing the episode with her. It felt way less than an hour in how we did it, and I hope it feels less for you. Please enjoy this episode of It Gets Butter. All right, so we are here with a new episode of It Gets Butter, the yet-to-be hit podcast. You know what? Maybe by this episode it's a massive hit. We'll see. But people are enjoying it. People are enjoying being on it. I am here with a very good friend of mine, Lauren DuFault. I'm so happy that you're here.
I'm happy to be here, too.
Comedian, actor, all in all, amazing person. I absolutely love your energy, and I like you as a person. And you're a friend. I do. I love you. I love being around you. Whenever we do shows together, it makes me happy. You also run shows. You produce shows. You have your own production, comedy production, Disco Cat, right? Which also I love Cat. So look, we're in honor.
Yeah.
And I love that. I love that you're just kind of, forging forward in all of it, and creating the spaces. And your spaces you create are cool spaces.
Yeah.
But we did that at the kombucha
Beach
place.
kombucha.
Beach kombucha was cool, and the places you're creating and the shows that you're working. I think you can see the people that come out to them. The vibes are good. The shows are good. The people you're getting. You kind of have a no assholes mentality on it. And that permeates through the crowd and the people and the lineups. And I like that.
Yeah, I have a very low tolerance for bullshit, I think. In the sense of, the ego. I'm the only ego in the room. I'm just kidding. No, I do think me and Shelley Behar, I think, are a really good pair. We are very balanced. She's Virgo sun, Libra rising. I'm a Libra sun, Scorpio rising, Virgo moon. So it's all very balanced.
Yeah, which I was going to say about you both. I mean, you took it right off the tip of my tongue.
Yeah, you were about to say that. No, yeah, I do love running Disco Cat with her because we do focus on women in comedy. And we like to have the balanced lineups and everything, but mostly we've started to veer into women headliners, bringing them from out of town. We just worked with Tony Naj and Leah Bonema, and that was really, really fun. But it's been fun. Yeah, now we're at Greenlight Lounge doing those. Which I love that place. It's
great place, cool place.
Yeah, it's like a 90-seater, and the vibes are just very chill, and he lets us kind of do our thing, and yeah, it's just fun.
And I also love you did, and you still occasionally will, because you're like me, you'll create a show.
Yeah.
And then, so when I created Wigs and Wit, it was super consistent, and then I was like, all right, it doesn't work here anymore. And then I took a little break from it, but people love the show, so I brought it back. And so I get also Big Girl Pants, right? Which is a great show, great concept. And I understand that people, how many times do you hear, why aren't you doing more bigger? I used to hear that all the time. Yeah. And I'm like, listen, producing a show is a lot. Finding the right venue, finding the right setup, finding the right people. But what I liked about, I don't think Big Girl Pants is what put you on the radar for me. You were on my radar. And I knew you in comedy and liked and respected you. And then I saw you did this show, Big Girl Pants, and I was like, what's that? And actually, Matt and I went to one. I think Helen was headlining it.
Yeah, that was our second one we did or something.
What I loved about that one was that it's female headliner based. It's you have other female comics in the show. I'll mansplain your show to you.
Please do.
I got you. And then what I love is you bring in male comics and they have to earn the right to have time on the show by answering questions about women, be it culture, history, anatomy, medical, type thing, everyday stuff that women know. And I just loved we talked earlier about one of our friends, one of our favorite people, Katie McCoy, and how she could shift an energy in a room. And what I love is how a lot of what you do shifts energy in the community in the right way. in the best way of saying, like, so, I don't want to speak for, let's say historically women underrepresented in comedy. And then you're like, but look, women are funny. Here's just simple examples of it. And I love it. I love what you've been doing.
Thanks.
So I've been a fan.
Yeah, it's running shows like that, I think, is somewhat of an uphill battle most of the time.
Yeah.
But it's been a fun one, and you're right. I think there's times where projects need to like stop and like take a break. Big Girl Pants is a huge endeavor. I have a lot of PTSD from it because it is such a big show to put on, and a lot of like definitely learned how to be a better leader, a better friend, like all the things. I've definitely had a lot of failure with the show for
Right.
sure behind closed doors.
Sure.
Learning all the things on how to run a successful show. But yeah, the journey of being a creative person is definitely not a linear one. It's up and down.
Yeah.
And we just talked earlier, 10 years into it, like every step of the way you're learning something different. It's like a new notch in your belt. And right now I'm just like, what do I really want to do? Because, what are my priorities as an artist?
And it's okay to let things sit. Like when Wigs and Wit is back. And so when I started it, I was doing it monthly. And then that ran for a while, and it stayed super busy, and then it started tapering off at its original location at Punky's. And then I was like, okay, and then I took it to a comedy club, and I took it to McCurdy's, and I was like, I'll do it monthly there. And then after like 4 months, it was just such an endeavor, and then I brought too many people in to help, so I was splitting money too many ways, and it just was like it just wasn't right. And then, so I was like, you know what, it's too stressful, I'm done. So I just stopped it for like 2 years, 3 years. And then, another opportunity came up, and Cocktail was looking for a show. And it's just one of those, it's like, well, I have this fully realized show. It's just in my pocket, ready to go. There's some work associated with it, so then, 3 years later, I'm like, oh yeah, and people are like, what a brand new show. And I was like, well, we were doing it for years. So yeah, there are definitely, and then, after a certain while, I was like, hey, this isn't the right venue, and I put it back in my pocket. And so it's definitely just it's good, like you said, with the creative thing. Even when we fail, we learn, and in life, right? Even when you fail, you learn, right? So the people that are like, oh, I failed this, well, there's still wins in failure. So like, on stage, sometimes a joke doesn't work, but instead of, when you can get to the point of being like, oh, woe is me, that didn't work, and then you get to the point instead of being like, why didn't that work? Yeah. And you're looking at it analytically of being like, well, how do I make that work type thing? Have you got there yet?
No, I'm giggling because I definitely have been through that. Like Nathan Wallace, he's like my OG comedy pal. Okay. Nathan Wallace, Chris Machado, Sheena Reagan, those three. I started comedy with them. Nathan used to make fun of me for crying. Like, I would get on stage, and no matter if I did good or bad, I would always get off stage and start crying because, again, talking about processing emotions, I didn't know how. Right. And so he used to make fun of me, and I didn't matter if it wasn't perfect, it wasn't good. Okay. You know what I'm saying? Okay. So it's like, yeah, I had a show last night where the audience was insane. It was like a bar show, and they were screaming at me during my set. Lauren 5-6 years ago would have been sobbing, right. But I was looking at it, I was like, all right, what happened here? Right. How could I have just contained all of it?
How could I do this differently? Maybe next time when it happens.
Yeah. So it was fun. Yeah, it was one of Natasha Samrini's bar shows at the Gator Club in Sarasota. Okay, it was wild.
Do you remember the brewery show Chris and Nathan used to do? Did you ever do that? They did.
You mean my room that I gave to them?
Oh, no, really? Okay.
That was my room. Room. I did one show there, and then I moved to Denver. You fuckers took. I'm just kidding. I love you guys. No. Yeah.
That's when I first met them. I don't know, mutually kind of heard about them, knew them, and then they booked me to do that. And Kevin Taylor and I went down to do that room. And
it was a good room.
It was a good room. I had a blast there. Yeah. That's where them and I, we hit it off, and then I did that room a second time. And then, Yeah, and then I've just been friends with them. In fact, I just did Radically Indifferent a second time.
Oh, yeah.
Recently, with Sheena and Nathan and Julie and them. Yeah.
They got a good setup down there.
They're doing a good job.
They're organized. They are like machines.
Yeah, they had like, I remember the first time I did their podcast, they had like a whiteboard of like plans.
Yeah.
What do we need? Like a checklist. And then I was like, that's what I need. And then I started my 2 podcasts with none of that. And I was like, I got microphones. I feel like...
These are nice.
Thank you. That was check, 1 step done.
Yeah.
And then, my list was shorter than theirs, but it was still important. But all right, so so first question we usually ask to people is, what is your relationship to food? It's a pretty open-ended question. It can be different for every person. Probably has changed over the years, maybe. What's your relationship? How would you describe it?
Exclusive.
Exclusive.
Monogamous.
We're monogamous. We're going steady.
No.
I hate to break. Food is seeing other people too. I hate to break it to you.
Damn it.
Time to process.
Time to process. No, my relationship to food has changed over the years. Like, I think growing up as an athlete is different than now. Food was always fuel. It was never, as a kid growing up, especially with my mom, I got a lot of my food habits from my mom. She wasn't a granola mom. She was a gym mom.
Right.
She, like... Our snacks in the house were pretzels. Like, that was like the sweet treat of the house.
So just so people know, you were a competitive swimmer.
Yeah,
for years.
20 years. Yeah. That's how I identified. That's like the foundation of who I am. I feel weird now. I'm almost 40. And like still talking about like in high school. God, sometimes I'm like, did I peak in high school? But no, it really defined my relationship with food because it was like, okay, what am I going to eat in order to swim faster?
Yeah.
It was never like
calculated.
I used to sneak away to my friend Alex Webster's house to eat junk food and drink soda.
Right.
And it was like soda was like Fresca was the only thing allowed in our house. Anything bubbly for the kid. Yeah, for us kids.
I hate grapefruit, so like that.
It was all I had. Sometimes we got to do like any different flavors on like the holidays, which weren't. Yeah, it was like a little Thanksgiving treat. But now my relationship with food has kind of morphed into like very moderate. In my 20s, I kind of had my relationship to alcohol was like kind of tied into the food, I think.
Okay. Yeah.
Because like when you drink a lot and then you're like, oh, I need to eat this massive amount of pizza at 2:30 in the morning so I can like soak up all the alcohol. But now it
justifies.
Yeah, exactly. It works.
That's just math.
Science. Now I would say my relationship to food is like, if I want something sweet, if I want like chocolate or something, I know that I have to balance it out.
Right.
You know, like it's not one of those things where it's like, oh, if I eat like a full donut, I need to work out for 3 hours.
Right.
No, just how do you feel? Like physically check in with myself. And then I always try and go by, I don't like to get too full. And I know like in the blue areas of the world, the places where they like the longevity is 100 plus.
Sure.
Like they, mostly in Japan, I think that they do like the 3/4 rule. So like eat until you're comfortable and not until you're full. So like I'm always like physically checking in with myself versus like visually looking on the plate, you know? And now I've gotten to the point where it's like, ooh, I get to have leftovers if I don't finish this. But when before it was like, I must finish the whole plate so I can swim, you know?
I think that's also very much an American mentality. Like I know growing up, it was very much insulting if you didn't finish your plate, right? Like if you didn't finish your plate, then either the food wasn't good or, you know, or there's starving kids in Africa, you know, like all of these things fed to us to finish our plates that I think at such a young age still permeate with me personally, that it's like there's guilt associated if you don't finish. And that's something that's hard to break as an adult, that I think a lot of adults need to break. But yeah, like you said, nowadays it's like, oh, well, that's leftovers. That's a snack tomorrow. I can, you know. But yeah, and then I've always heard that, like in Eastern culture, finishing the whole plate is actually insulting, because then that's saying they didn't give you enough food.
Oh,
so actually leaving food. This is just what listen,
It's like the opposite of.
I was educated in Florida, so let's not say that this is correct.
We're guessing here.
Yeah, but yeah, it's the opposite. That and it's just that simple mentality of, like you said, you don't eat until you're overstuffed. But that mentality was kind of built in my understanding. That also in the courteous part of it, which was kind of the exact opposite of us, and they're just different. Neither one right or wrong. They're just different mentalities of you're finishing it because you loved everything on the plate and it was so good I finished every bite, or you didn't finish it because you gave me plenty of food and you definitely get, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So both are courteous and polite, just different. But in the way I grew up, it was like if you put it on your plate, you eat it. Whether you like it, whether or not, whether you put too much,
your mom's
you put it on your plate.
Do you even love me?
Yeah, starving kids, all of this. You're so lucky to be able to eat, and I'm like, but do I need all? Yeah. But so that's definitely a mentality I've dealt with my whole life. But again, you've grown, which is smart. But yeah, as an athlete, I would imagine it's funny. We didn't have sodas in my house growing up either, and we also had this rule. I don't know if every kid had this rule. Probably not. My parents are interesting. We had a rule that was when we were picking out cereal.
Okay.
Sugar couldn't be in the first three ingredients.
Ooh.
It had to be the fourth ingredient or lower.
Yeah.
So when picking out cereal, we had to pick a cereal that sugar wasn't in the top three.
What were the cereals?
So oh God, now I got to remember. But stuff like, I think like Honey Nut Cheerios.
Okay.
Would pass the test. I think it's further down. I haven't looked at. I am well into my 40s. I haven't looked at ingredients in a while, as you can see. But yeah, that was just an interesting. Like as kids, we're like, oh, let's go to the cereal, and my brother Steve and I would like start grabbing cereal and looking at it. Like, what can we get? Ooh, Cinnamon Toast Crunch. Nope. I know.
Shout out Cinnamon Toast.
Shout out Cinnamon Toast Crunch. You know what? Dry or with milk, delicious. Okay.
Or in an alcoholic shop.
Or in ice cream, by the way. Let's put it together.
Yes.
You know what? Can do no wrong. Cinnamon Toast Crunch. If you'd like to sponsor Cinnamon Toast Crunch. But yeah, we had that, and we weren't even athletes. Yeah. We were just, under the iron rule of my parents. That sounds way worse than it is.
Rule,
it's a good rule. Like looking back, listen, as a child, I'm like, how dare you? But looking back, I was like, how responsible.
Yeah. Ours was Honey Bunches of Oats. I will never, ever, 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 ever eat that again because it was the only cereal. My dad would just be there in the morning. Come on in, just eating his cereal. I'm like, what a Groundhog Day. It's wild.
All right, so we're going to talk about your favorite comfort food, and you gave us two.
It's so boring. I love it.
And you will share. I can't wait for the actual recipe you're going to send me on this because we're going to put it into the description.
Yeah.
So we have two.
Yeah.
Now, the first one, breakfast sandwich.
Ooh, yeah.
But I want to get specific. Like, because I'm going to start. This is how much I love food. I'm going to start from the outside in on your breakfast sandwich. And we're going to build your favorite breakfast sandwich.
Let's go.
All right. What's our bread? First of all, if you say lettuce wrap, I'll punch you. I won't, but I'll flip this table. I'll turn it off right now. So is it bagel? Is it croissant? There is a right answer. Is it baked donut? Is it bread?
Okay, so for this specific, we're talking
your
comfort,
favorite. Yeah.
It's English muffin.
English. Okay, you know what? That's good. We're good with that.
Okay.
I mean, croissant's the right answer, but English muffin is also correct.
Yes.
Because nooks and crannies and delicious.
Yes.
All right, so English muffin. Mm-hmm. Cheese?
Yes.
Okay.
Usually it's American cheese.
American cheese? Yep. Because it melts so well.
Because we speak English. I'm just kidding.
Because this is America.
I'm just kidding. Yes, American.
Get that Swiss cheese out of here.
That fake American really melts
Perfect.
super well.
I'm on it so far. We do an egg?
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's a breakfast sandwich.
It's over hard, though.
Okay, over hard, not scrambled.
No runny.
No runny.
No runny, yeah.
Would you do it scrambled?
No.
Okay, over hard. Because you like the fried part of it?
So I will answer that in just a second with the story behind why this.
So over hard.
Okay, yeah.
Do we have a meat in there?
Bacon usually. Bacon,
okay.
Yeah, but it's matured into sausage.
Okay.
But I would say the nostalgic answer is bacon.
Okay. And then, are you doing any condiments? Do we do mayo at all?
So, no. That's with butter, and then that is it.
Okay.
That is what it is.
Okay. That's a good
Very
breakfast
simple.
sandwich.
Yes.
I like the breakfast. A little salt and pepper?
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay. You hate.
Again, I'll
that's fine.
tell you why.
You hate seasoning and flavor, and that's good to know.
Do you see my skin color? Do you see this?
It's
I am
Caucasian.
translucent at night.
It's Caucasianly seasoned, and I love that. All right, so this is your. Here's the thing.
Okay.
I would eat this. I like it.
Okay.
I do like it. You've chosen good choices in there. How did this become your go-to breakfast
Okay,
sandwich?
again, I'm shout out
let's
to
go.
Dorothy, my mother, because in high school, I'm so bad at waking up in the morning. And again, thank you for getting me this coffee.
Yeah, by the way, we're talking about all this healthy living, and we have the sweetest espresso coffees
Yes,
we can get. You
so
have
good.
Vietnamese iced coffee, and I have an egg custard coffee. We're doing the best.
It's called balanced stuff. Cheers.
Cheers to that.
Yeah, so in high school, well, middle school, but mostly high school is when this started. I started morning practices before school.
Okay.
So school started at 7:21 a.m. and we would swim from 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. and I would probably wake up at like 5:45 because I lived super close to my high school where practices were. But my mom gets up at like the crack ass of yesterday dawn. So she used to wake up before me and make me the breakfast sandwich so that when I would get up, it would be ready. So like I would put my suit, like I would literally like roll out of bed. And then I would put my suit on and I would brush my teeth and then I would like get my sweats on and then I would go downstairs and it would be there. So I would just like chow it down and then we'd get to the pool at like 5:57 and I'd laugh bite.
Right.
Get my cap on, get my god, dive into the water, and then it would just be sitting right here.
I was told you're supposed to wait 30 minutes before.
No, girl. You get that down. You get it down. So then, yeah, and then I would swim the morning practice, and then I would get out of practice, and then, wet hair, get my sweats on, and just go. Like, literally, this is what I used to wear to school. Like, I wouldn't try hard at all. And I still don't. I've made it back to this. But yeah, that's the story behind it.
Okay.
The fact that there was no like mayo and nothing, it was because it had to be simple because it's functional breakfast for fueling your morning practice. Yeah. But by the time like 6:45 would roll around, we'd be on like our hard kick set, and then I would just be like with my little kickboard, and I'd have that fuel for the last set of the practice. Okay. So. That's the story behind the breakfast sandwich.
It is functional, but it's still delicious. Now, I would just say, I would like personally to point out, nowadays, we could throw a little mayonnaise and salt and pepper on there, and it's going to just add a little creamy and a little to it. Yeah. But, that's me.
Spicy mayo.
Oh, that's fine.
I like some spicy mayo.
That's fine. I love, listen. Mayo, in any sense, I have learned, I didn't used to like it because my parents didn't like it. Mm-hmm. My parents were like, mayonnaise is disgusting. Like, that's what I grew up with. And then I tried mayonnaise, and I was like, y'all know it's not disgusting.
You know the mayonnaise argument.
There's a mayonnaise argument?
There was. Well, apparently, it's like the baklava situation. The Greeks think they did it, and then the Turks were like, no, we made baklava. But I think it's between the French and the Spanish where mayonnaise originates.
Yeah, because it's basically an aioli, which to me could be, I'll be honest with you, sounds both French and Spanish in the word. Yeah. I don't really know where that word comes from. Yeah. So it sounds Italian, actually. I'm going to give it to the Italians.
We don't want it. We have our sauces.
Yeah, I didn't know that there was such a debate on it.
I mean, it's very much been
my understanding comes from South Carolina because Duke's is the only mayonnaise we're allowed in here, and Duke's came from Greenville, South Carolina. So as far as I know, South Carolina invented mayonnaise, and I won't be told otherwise, and neither will Matt because he'll yell at me.
Okay, cut this part out then.
And God forbid Miracle Whip ever come into this house, he will burn it down. You know what's the worst? When we go to a friend of ours' Easter celebration for the food, and they have 2 trays of deviled eggs, and one is made with Miracle Whip and one is made with mayonnaise.
Do they tell you which?
No, and so you know what happens? Matt makes me try both before he trusts one of them.
Are you okay?
I had lived through that bite. You could just tell. You can just tell it's wrong.
It's really affecting
you. It's just wrong.
I do love a double egg, though.
Oh, God, they're the best. Speaking of mayonnaise, this leads us into our next thing, which you may not think it does, but it does. Another comfort food you have is grilled cheese.
Yes,
now,
grilled cheese.
Walk us through it. So,
okay.
English muffin. No.
Start with English.
Start with English muffin. Usually, so what type of bread are we doing?
Sourdough.
Sourdough?
Usually.
Good choice.
That's the only type of bread I really eat these days.
Okay.
Is sourdough. I don't make my sourdough, which I think I chose. There's two paths you can choose as mid-30 gal pal. You could go down the sourdough route, and you can learn how to make sourdough, or you can do a triathlon.
Those are your options.
Those are the two paths you have as mid-30 gal pal with cats. So I did a triathlon, so I never learned how to make sourdough, but I buy the sourdough.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, so last year, I don't know if you know. I don't know why I'm always like, because you follow my every move. So last year, Matt and I were in San Francisco for a month, and we're going back this year for a month, and they have so many places that have been making sourdough for the last 150 years, and it's so good. All right, so you get your sourdough.
Yeah.
You got your bread.
Yeah.
Butter on the outside?
It depends on how much I've smoked, really.
Okay.
I'm trying not to smoke as much these days, but grilled cheese I really had to put on there because it's my stoner food.
Yeah.
Like the breakfast sandwich represents like the disciplined side of Lauren, and then the grilled cheese is like, I'm fucking hungry, bro. It's fucking 1 a.m. What are we doing? So I usually heat the pan, the butter, and then the butter. You have to. The key is putting butter on both the bread and the pan, because if you do it on one, they're not like talking to each other.
Sure.
They gotta say hello. Greet each other. Hi. Hello. So yeah, both sides of the bread and the pan, and then I do pepperjack cheese.
Okay.
I do pepperjack cheese. Add a little sweet, little cute spice to it. And then this is gonna be really weird, but I do dip my grilled cheese in pickle juice. Okay. Are we done?
Okay. It's not the weirdest thing I've heard. No, all right. It's up there on top 3 odd combinations I've heard on this podcast so far. I'm going to give it to you. You're in the top 3.
Good. Let's go. I'm a winner.
Because you're battling against dunking a Twinkie in cream of wheat. Okay, that's where you're battling against. And I don't know which one wins. Okay? Because that's a strong contender as well.
Who? I'm not going to ask who. I'm just going to pray for them later. I'm just kidding. Okay.
You can assume that they're a little bit older. But
this Twinkie's from 1945.
I had to look up when both of those came out, by the way. Twinkies and cream of wheat. Because maybe they were designed to come out together. I didn't know. They weren't. So that's interesting. Yeah. All right. All right. But yes.
I'm going to defend myself really quick.
I'm not attacking you necessarily.
I feel shame. But,
I'm not saying you shouldn't or should.
It's just a natural state of being for Lauren. No. I will... Pickles have a lot of electrolytes.
Yeah.
So
100%.
I always tell myself when I'm high, I'm like, this is healthy for me.
Okay.
It's like, because of the electrolytes.
Because if people don't know, like, if you're having a cramp or something like that, pickle juice or eating up, just pickle juice does a great job of preventing cramps and hangover. Pickle juice is amazing.
Yeah.
100%. I'm there with you. I love a pickle. I feel like you just put pickles in the grilled cheese, but that's fine. Have you ever, since we were talking about mayonnaise, have you ever done the grilled cheese with mayonnaise on the outside?
On the outside?
Yeah.
No.
So here's the thing that people don't understand. Like, it's because what you want on the outside to start that grilling is some fat, right? That's what butter is. You're putting fat on there.
Yeah.
So if you put mayonnaise on there, it cooks the same as like butter, but you get a bit of a tanginess because it's mayonnaise. I love doing that now. Now when I make grilled cheese, I'm always mayonnaise on the outside.
How much are we talking?
Not like a ton, like a thin layer. Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, just a thin layer on the outside.
I'm going to try it.
Give it a shot.
Because it just adds that little bit of added something to it. I don't know. I like it. I'm a big fan of it. A little zhuzh, a little something different. A little
cheese zhuzh. We love it.
All right. So now the question is, those are your comfort foods, and those are both unique.
Yeah.
And no need to defend yourself on your weird choices in life.
I defend myself into a mirror, okay? I had to remove the mirror from my bathroom just because I kept yelling at myself.
To myself.
Listen, you motherfucker.
Listen, how dare you judge me?
You look at me when I'm talking. Love.
So I feel like this is going to lead right into, the other thing we talk about on here is any hard times that we've been through in life. And that's the thing I love about this. And that's the thing I love about, like, the concept of this podcast was like anybody can come on the podcast, right? Because anybody has comfort food and hard times, right? Like that's the beauty of relatability in life. We've all been through stuff, right? Different things, sure, but actually sometimes you find out that you're not. Well, this is going to sound this sounds ruder than it is, but I think you've also heard me talk about this in comedy too. We find out we're not as unique as we think. Like, yes, we're all perfect snowflakes and we're all very unique. That being said, one thing I learned in comedy a long time ago was the less you think you're unique and nobody can relate to your experiences. Like once you start realizing, just talk about yourself on stage and like what you've been through, and audiences are like, oh yeah, me too. And you're like, oh, I'm not the only one. Like that helped lead me to this with being like, oh, if we can put out stories that other people have gone through stuff, people listening can be like, oh, that's something maybe I've been through or something similar or something close to I've been through, and it creates like you're not alone in the world type thing in a helpful, comforting way as opposed to the funny way that we do on stage. So I will open the floor to you. What is I have hard time, but I think tough time is I should probably phrase it as, what's a tough time you've been through? What's a challenging time?
Yeah,
I don't know.
This guy asked me to do a podcast about food one time.
Right. And you had to admit to pickle juice?
I had to tell people about the juice. No, are we talking just one time or like
we can go into whatever. Yeah,
thematic?
We can go thematic.
I just think I was a little fucking shit until I was like 32. Like I don't know. I feel like I look back and it's the same pattern over and over again in my life, and I really didn't start like taking it apart until I gave up alcohol. Okay. So I'll just like talk about my most recent hard time.
Sure.
1 second. Okay, sorry.
Well, because you even admitted that like you started learning how to process emotions in your 30s, right? So it would make sense that, as we kind of talked about earlier, until somebody finds out how to be themselves, which whatever that means for them, and I'm trying to keep that as vague because I don't want to say how I do things is the right way.
Well, I think it's taking responsibility for how you are as a person and how you relate or react to things in your life, and it's all about what you do with what you can control. That's what I've learned. Like I spent so long trying to control other people based off of like, not in a malicious way, unknowing to myself. Like unconsciously, I think we try and control everything around us so we can feel safe. Yeah. So like, I think most recently the hardest time I went through is after I moved here. I moved from Denver back to Florida because I started comedy in Fort Myers with the gang down there, and then went to Denver, fucked some shit up there, not in a good way. And then, you ever get into a fist fight at karaoke? Anyways. Shout out to El Torito. And then moved back here, and then just, getting rid of the alcohol was, I think, the last big stake of, like, things need to change in my life. So the last big night before I gave up alcohol, there's two things that stand out.
Sure.
The first night was, I was talking to this guy, and my college roommate was in town, and I fucking loved my college roommate. She's amazing. She's, like, so successful. I love her so much. And so I was really excited for him to meet her. And he had stuff to do that night, and he kept, like, say, I'll be there in 20, I'll be there in 40, I'll be there. He never showed up. Later on, I found out he was with another girl.
Oh, okay.
That night, I got so drunk, I couldn't find my car.
Okay.
To be fair, it was roped off because someone got stabbed. So, I mean, I didn't do any of that. But
so they also were hiding it.
Couldn't find my...
Police were hiding it.
But I remember being so drunk that I walked up to a police officer. I was like, can you take me home? And he's like, no, get the fuck out of here. I was like, you walk home. So I did the college thing, and I walked like 3 miles home at 2 a.m. as like a 32-year-old person.
Right.
And then I had a hangover for 4 days. And then I was like, ooh, I think something needs to change.
Yeah,
like,
is this worth it?
And then I remember calling someone that night, like looking for support, and it was definitely the wrong person to call. Because then they took that information and they told everyone. Yeah. And I remember, that was like not good. So then that happened, and I was like, oh, maybe something should change. And then the second night, it wasn't nighttime. It was daytime. It was in the daytime. I made bad decisions in the daytime. When I was day drinking can really get to you, right?
Right.
This was more sensitive information, so I'm going to try and keep out of respect for my family.
Sure.
I got so drunk on a boat that I ended up getting into a fist fight with my mom, my dad, and my sister at the same time.
Okay. And little Royal Rumble on the boat.
Little DuFault Rumble.
There you go.
And then that was when I was like, ooh, I need to not do this anymore. I think trying to fight your whole family physically. And I won't go into why it happened. I wasn't totally at fault. Like, it was a lot of years of built up stuff. But then, after that happened.
At a certain point when it's 3-on-1, maybe you do look back and go, wait,
what happened?
Is the 1 the problem in this? Is that?
The 3?
Yeah. Sometimes the 3 could be correct if they're all feeling the same thing.
Well, no. Just off record. Yeah. I'll tell you off record what really happened. But anyway, it was, those were moments in my life where I was like,
everybody holds accountability type thing. Nothing's solely one person's fault.
Yeah.
But definitely when it's like... even if it's family or let's say chosen family or anything, when it's 5 people telling you like, hey, maybe stop doing this, and you're like, these 5 people are crazy, and then you're like,
the only one that's normal.
Or retrospect.
Either way, So then that happened, and getting sober was like number 1 on my list.
Yeah.
And then that's when things started to really like change, and like this coffee's really hitting right now. It's almost like the glossy eye, rose-colored glasses slowly fade.
Start coming, and then you start seeing things in perspective and clarity.
Everything starts to bubble up in clarity, and then that's like the first part of what the tough time was, and then the second part, and again I'm going to be very vague. I don't know if I should be vague. You know what? Never mind. We're just going to keep this first part.
Okay, that's fine.
Never mind.
That's fine.
We're going to keep this first part. Okay.
But yeah, because it is, and then I will say there's a second part, I'll just put a little speculation on it, and in general second part, that once clarity comes in, now there's pattern changing that has to come in. Yeah. I mean, because now you're creating a domino effect of things, right? Like, so you stop drinking, and this is all, I'm saying this all in a hypothetical, and I'll let you agree, disagree with, as we're going through it. But this is how I see it happening, right? You stop drinking, that's a choice that situation or, events have led to, and you're like, this needs to stop so I can start. And maybe just stopping drinking is the first start of being able to look at what I need to do. Yeah. Like, I know if I stop this, I can finally take a look at maybe a bigger thing. So you do that. So then now you're done drinking. Now clarity, like we talk about, rose is going away. You're starting to see things. And now that leads to another domino falling, because now that you can see things a little bit more clear and you're processing things a little bit differently because you're not drunk or you're not in an altered state. Now you're processing with a different mind pattern, right? Brain waves are working differently. And now it's like, how do I process this without the comfort vice that I had, which is so now you're creating a new pattern of how to deal with things, a new pattern of how do I process, how do I cope, what do I do on a Friday night, what do I do on a Thursday daytime, and so it's funny because it creates I'll give a really bad analogy. Are you ready for this really bad analogy?
I'm ready. Bring it on.
All right. I used to be very good at shooting pool. I'll get there.
Okay.
I used to be very good at shooting pool. All right. I was a pretty good pool player, and I played in a couple tournaments, and I was good.
Fuck yeah.
And then I started dating this guy, and he was very good at shooting pool. And he was like, do you want me to teach you how to shoot pool? And I was like, I know how to shoot pool. But he was very good. And I was like, yeah, teach me how to shoot pool. And then he completely changed my form on how I was shooting pool. Mm-hmm. And now I was horrible at shooting pool. And I was so frustrated with how bad I was now that I wanted to go back to my old form because I was pretty good that way. Mm-hmm. But staying with the new form made me very good at shooting pool.
That is such a good point. It's the same thing with swimming. Is like the technique is going to make the endurance suffer for just a little bit until you strengthen that technique, so then you can walk forward or you can swim fast, or you can shoot better.
Yeah. So I think that's an analogy in kind of what you are describing is like you in your mind, well, at certain points in your mind, you were like, I'm having a good life, right? But then something goes, you can have a better life if you do this. Mm-hmm. And then, okay, that's great. But now your life feels worse for a little while because none of this feels comfortable for me. None of this feels, this was good, and I understand that this could be better, but this is not comfortable. I'm not comfortable doing it. I'm not comfortable, and then you have to kind of stick with it until it becomes repetitive patterns and it becomes new brain connections, new synapses have created new, pathways, and this is the norm now. And so like I said, and it's a weird analogy being like, pool shooting, but it is.
No, it's true.
I remember months of being just super frustrated shooting pool, being like, I'm way worse than I was. How is this making me better? And then 4 months later, I'm winning tournaments. And it's like, because I stuck with, this is a better system, this is a better form, this is how you should be doing it. And so, that analogy broken down to life, that's a frustrating time that you have to get through. And getting through that can be maybe the hardest part of the change.
Well, I think especially when it's something like giving up a huge habit like drinking, the life doesn't stop for people that don't have that resource of, I'm just going to go to rehab. I never went to rehab because, one, I couldn't afford it. Two, I couldn't afford. Three, I couldn't fucking afford it. So, I had to go through. Life wasn't stopping, but the habit was changing, and the expectations of, because it's like when I was a teacher, they have this thing where if you have a bad student, that's just the bad student. And then if you don't give them room to grow, they're always just going to be that bad student. So, I had to cope. Oh my God, this is so funny. Okay, listen. The other day, I was working at the cafe that I work at, and this guy walks in, and I recognize his face, but I was like, oh, who is that? I was like, do I know you from Denver? He walked in with a girl.
Yeah.
I was like, do I know you from Denver? And he goes, no. And it all came flooding back. I was like, this is the first guy I dated.
Oh.
After I got sober. And I remember him telling me, because I was so, I didn't want to be by myself. I couldn't be alone. I wanted to be, being with someone would define, how good of a person I was.
Sure.
So I
Validation somewhere helps.
Yeah, so that was, part of the whole
good
spiel.
Or bad.
Yeah, and I remember him he broke up with me. And I remember him telling me that my sobriety made him uncomfortable.
Okay.
So that was the first shock to my system of oh, I'm affecting people differently now. You know what I'm saying? And
also, when
the
you make
expectation of people.
When you make that change, like we talked about, you've decided to make that change. Mm-hmm. Your support system. You say life keep moving forward. Well, life's moving forward in the exact same way it was. Your friends that you were drinking with are still drinking. They're not making that change.
That's crazy. They all fall away a few months into it because you can't keep up with the lifestyle. I used to do comedy shows. I think we went together a few times where we would do the show, and then we're like, all right, let's go get fucked up. And then we go to Steve's Tavern on Central where you can still smoke inside. And then we play pool and get fucked up. Yeah. And then that was what it was. But when you stop drinking, you're like, oh, I'm not going to go to Steve's Tavern tonight. Yeah. You know, like I'm going to go home. And
it's weird because as you're processing, how do I change these things? That support system, what felt like a support system before, I don't know how supportive it was in hindsight.
Yeah.
You now have to, it sucks because in that period of practicing the new technique, you also have to you're building this technique up, but you're also building a different support system because this one needs to fit what you're doing now. And it sucks because to do those type things, you're adding so much on top of just your own personal growth. Like, I have to build a new support system, and I have to do this. But I think the thing to remember on all of that, for anybody that's going through this, I think the thing to remember, for me to point out, is like, you have to know it sucks for a little bit. But, like, it's allowed to suck for a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, and I think if you know that, like, and if the mentality is, because the reason I think that's an important mentality, because sometimes we're in it and we're like, this sucks and it'll never get better. But that's not true. It sucks for a little bit. Like, and I don't know what the little bit is. That's subjective, right? And that's going to change every time for every person. But as long as you know it's a little bit, we can all get through a little bit. Like, if it's 3 months, we've done 3 months of stuff we don't love before. If it's 4 months, it's a little bit in the grand scheme of things.
I will say, too, just to add to that, yes, and so what I learned, I had a friend who used to say this to me. He's very wise. The cavalry is never coming. Okay. And that means that you're talking about support system. Like, at least for me, I realized that if the cavalry is never coming, like, you have to be your own support system first. Yeah. Before you can start building that up around you. And I think I still struggle with this too, because, like, growing up, I was always in the water, right? So I think, and then my mom, I love my mom, but, you know, she's got her own generational trauma passed down. But she went from high school to college to married. Like, so I think her friend circle wasn't that big anyway. So, like, our DuFault's definition of support was family, and you don't need really friends, but then you're an athlete, and so you don't have time to make friends. So, like, the only really good friend group I had growing up was in high school, and then even that dissolved after you go to college. So, like, I never really learned the skills to keep, like, or even trust solid friendships. So, like, in this situation, you alcohol was really the defining thing where I would try and make the friends, you know? It's like, same thing as, like, you're going to the bar. I carried a lighter so I could become friends with people who were smoking, and all of a sudden I'm smoking. And so it's like sort of that sort of thing. Getting sober, realizing that you are your support system, but learning to trust that other people will be there for you, and who are those people, and discerning between, like, if they're not there for you either, like, that's, you have yourself. You know what I'm saying? So, like, that's where I'm at.
And I think really. And that's important. That's important to believe in yourself, because also part of me doesn't want to blame the people that can't be there for you, because that's not their journey, right? So, you know, sometimes it sucks being like, that friend I feel should be a better friend and so on. But I always try to point out to people, like, we don't know what's going on in their life type thing. We don't know what their hardships are going. We don't know type thing. It's funny you mentioned your parents and you know, generational trauma, what we live with and so on. I remember, and I wonder if this will relate to you, my dad had a real interesting saying back in my 30s. So my parents are about to have their 50th, this year will be their 50th wedding anniversary.
Oh, fun.
So they're early 70s, so they got married early 20s. Yeah. So in my 30s, my dad's talking to his gay son who's going through a breakup with a guy and about to start dating another guy that I would end up marrying and then leaving him. And, you know, now Matt and I are coming up on 5 years ourselves. But my dad in my early 30s said, he goes, yeah, I don't know what advice I can give you. He's like, you're living a different life than I lived. He's like, I can't give you the advice from my 20s, because my 20s, I went to college, I married, you know, a woman I met in high school. We started having kids. He's like, that was the life. And he's like, you're not doing that. And he goes, you went to college, but like, you don't have a woman you're going to marry. I don't even know if marriage was legal at this point type thing. So marriage may not have been on the table.
Yeah.
And he's like, you don't have kids that are keeping you in a relationship, which, thanks, Dad. That sounds great. But
am I the glue that kept you together?
but there isn't like a real thing. He realized, and good for his self-actualization, he realized early on that he's like, I can't give you personal advice because I don't know your life, because your life is so different from mine just because it is. He's like, I can give you like my opinion on this and my opinion on that. And he's like, but coming from a personal standpoint, I can guess what I'm empathetic, but I don't necessarily know what you're going through because we're living such different lives in our lives. So I just thought that was really interesting that he realized that he's like, oh, I can't.
Yeah.
I can only offer so much advice to you. Like my brother is more traditional to like my dad's, not that my brother takes my dad's advice, but like that. I think he's more comfortable talking to my brother because it's like, oh, I know this life. I lived this life.
I can see patterns.
He's like, I've never lived your life, Jeff, so I can't really speak on it.
I relate so hard to that. I have 3 other siblings with families and kids and going through the same. So my parents like are giving them different advice. Like the advice that I get from my parents is like, just, I don't know, Lauren, just fucking do it.
Just do it.
Just do it.
Yeah.
Suck it up, but just do it.
And it's not, it's not our parents' fault. It's just that
they don't know what to say.
They understand somebody that's going exactly through what they've gone through. And if it's not that, they're like, I don't know what to tell that person. I've never lived that life, So it's just an interesting, it was great that my dad realized that.
That's funny, though.
All right, so while you were getting sober, while we're in that part, while we're in that kind of like, rough patch, if we will, but patch that leads to a better life type thing, what type of role did food play in that, if anything? Did you find your relationship to food changed in that time? Yeah?
Yeah.
Do you find like you start cooking for yourself more? What in that changed?
So first year of my sobriety was sponsored by HelloFresh. Because I think when it comes to like making a big change like that in your life, like giving up alcohol, that level of perfectionism was still there where I was like, everything needs to be perfect. I need to be working out. And this is part of why everything fell apart too. Getting sober, going back into swimming, trying to date, like, be like the perfect girl to date, and then, eat the perfect things, right? So with food, giving up alcohol, my diet changed, and I wanted to have the knowledge of cooking because I grew up, I wasn't allowed to really help my mom cook because my mom would be like, let me do it, just get out of the kitchen. I got it, So I learned, I still have like the pile of recipes from HelloFresh.
Oh, nice.
I kept them all.
Yeah.
But that was really the beginning of trying to like scrub out all of the bad habits in my life again.
And maybe add some structure, like you were saying. Yeah. That's
like I did like getting, it was like once a week the box would show up in my house. I didn't have to go grocery shopping. And it was just enough food for me because at that time I did break up with someone and we were living together at the time. Sorry. Okay, small reaction to that. But he had moved out. So like even learning how to like shop for groceries.
Yeah, that's tough shopping for one and cooking for. It's wild. It's a different feeling.
I am such an Aldi's girl now.
Yeah,
because
my God, shout out Aldi's.
Aldi's is so simple. Like they don't have a lot of choices, which I think for my brain is so much better. It's like you go and there's like 20,000 different types of breads.
Yeah.
And you're like, I don't know which one to get, but Aldi's are like, here's 2 types of breads. I'm like, you get this one or you get fucking that one, So you get
dark light. Which one do you want?
Which one the fuck do you want? So like shopping in Aldi's, learn how to do that. But before that, HelloFresh was really like the first step to.
Well, and I would say probably if let me speak out of turn on this, but the fact that you like you said, you started maybe working out again. You started, and it again, you're coming from an athlete background, which had a lot of structure to it. Mm-hmm. So even just getting into a routine, working out, HelloFresh. Even something like that where they're doing the delivery to you, that's creating structure. On Fridays, my food comes in. And then I know what to make. They tell me, so I think sometimes to help get out of a chaotic point in your life, a couple things of, like people say, make your bed every morning.
Yes.
But it seems simple, but those type things, what they're doing is they're creating any amount of structure you can to get out of chaos. You know, if it's one thing and then it makes two things of structure, and you know, I always consider them like little steps on a ladder, right? You want to climb out of this one step at a time, but then two steps, oh, I'm climbing a little bit faster. 3 steps, my structure. And then you can start breaking away from that structure, I think, at some point if you want. You know, like you said, with food, you're like, if I want something sweet, I'll have something sweet, but I'm trusting my body now. And that's getting to that point that you can do that. But yeah, those little bits of structure, I think, really help. So nice. I think HelloFresh was it's a smart move, and it's a smart idea for people if they need that little help.
What I didn't like about HelloFresh at the end of it, all the positive things about routine and getting back into the habit of like cooking for myself, was the fact that like it was shipped from like New York or something, and we're in Florida, so like summer months started coming, and then the food would not. So then it was like, okay, how do I back up from that and start looking locally to what we're doing here in St. Pete? So that's when things it's truly a practice. Like of how to get all these foods in your house that stay fresh. And speaking of fresh, where do you go in St. Pete, right? And
by the way, I want to give a shout out to you. Have you looked at this new app that's out there?
No.
And everybody, I think it's in a whole bunch of different cities. It is, because I looked at it in New York. Too Good to Go, I want to say.
What is it?
So Too Good to Go is restaurants that, like, end of day, they have extra food, and they're typically throwing it out. Well, instead, you can get, like, you know, surprise bags or this or that. But, like, churrascaderas, like Brazilian steakhouses, will give, like, meals out at the end of their day, so you can grab it and then cook it the next day for yourself. Like the little popcorn place around here, end of day, has grab stuff, Twisted Indian. But a lot of different restaurants participate in it. And it's like inexpensive ways to get food from restaurants that sometimes it's like a pre-made meal or something. So if you're trying to, like, let's say you don't have a lot of money, you're trying to save money. I just found this.
Too Good to Go.
Too Good to Go. And I'll show you the app after we're done. But I just like it. I just like it because if you're trying to get some type of something in your life, you're trying to do more stuff at home and you don't want to eat out, you're trying to save money, this has been really kind of a cool, I love the idea of zero waste if we can get to it. And this is a way of restaurants trying to reduce their waste, and I'm here for it. I absolutely love it. All right.
Okay.
Here's next question for you.
I'm ready.
Current day Lauren, right? Today. You. Hi.
Yeah. Hello.
What advice would you give for previous Lauren that was going through starting to get sober and starting this process? What advice would you give today to that person? Because you're a different person today.
Specifically for food?
Just in general. Yeah.
What advice would I give her?
Start with, hey girl, you're going through some stuff.
Listen, bitch. I'm just kidding. No, I'm kidding.
Hey girl,
you're okay.
You owe me money.
You're good. I would say the advice I would give her, if we're talking like day one of no alcohol, it is okay to miss the party.
That's good advice.
It is truly on a Friday night. It is okay to stay in and clean your fucking kitchen. The idea of FOMO, I think, can create so much anxiety in someone's life, especially when they're so tied to something like a social elixir like alcohol. Because that can be the link to your social life, right? So like telling myself like it's okay to just be by yourself and shut the phone off, and you don't have to tell people everything. Like
that too.
Maybe take like a little journal, like pick up a little journal again.
Processing the weekend.
Processing the weekend, right? I'm gonna just flip it on the side, write a little smaller. No, I think that would be my advice. It's just like it's okay to miss the party.
That's good advice.
You know, it's truly okay to be by yourself.
It's truly okay to miss an event. Like, it's fine to miss an event. It's truly okay to miss an event. All right, my next question for you, and this is one of my favorite that we try to get from people, is so we have your comfort foods.
Okay.
But what I want to know is, what is your guilty pleasure food? Because those are different.
Okay. So this one.
What's embarrassing? And here's the thing. You've already talked about putting pepperjack grilled cheese and pickle juice.
I did tell you about the pickle juice thing. I did. You know, I am not ashamed. Me and pickle juice forever. I would say I'm not embarrassed about it, but it is something that's very niche that only a few thousand people know about.
Okay.
In the city of Rochester, New York, we have a thing called the garbage plate.
Okay.
And if you don't know what the garbage plate is, you're missing out. You've got
I've been called
listen, you fucking garbage plate. The garbage plate used to be, and I still think is for many young gal pals and guys out there, a drunk delicacy of Rochester, New York. It's basically everything you'll find at a cookout in one plate, aka the garbage plate. You have the home fries. Not regular fried, they're the square home fries.
Little potatoes, yeah.
And then you have either you can do like a cheeseburger or a hamburger, Zweigels, Red Hots, or White Hots. Very specific if you're going to do a dog.
Okay.
Zweigels, Red Hots, or White Hot. On top of that, there's a special meat sauce which makes it. And then I don't know why I'm getting closer to the mic because I'm trying. I haven't eaten today yet. And then there's mac salad as well.
Okay.
So all of that, and then they give you this little tiny piece of bread. This little tiny piece of bread, about this big.
Little communion wafer for it.
And garbage plate for you. And then you can do like the ketchup, mustard, mayo. All that.
Yeah, because it needs condiments on it.
Yeah, and then you take a fork and then you just stir it around like a maniac, and then you eat that.
Okay.
And that is a garbage plate.
All right. And people in Rochester survive?
We do. We've done it for many a year. No, the original was at Nick Tahoe's. That's where the original garbage place started, which, unpopular opinion, I don't think they have the best anymore. If you go to Rochester, New York, like if you're at the Carlson or anything, Comedy Carlson, anything with Hots in the name, like Fairport Hots, Irondequoit Hots, Henrietta Hots, like they will have the garbage plate.
All right.
So I highly recommend getting that. Share it with someone because we're getting old, so I don't think our bodies can really figure out one garbage plate.
I'm going to hit up my friend Cindy there and ask her about it. Do you know Cindy?
I love Cindy.
Cindy, yeah.
She knows.
She knows.
She does the don't tells up there.
Yeah, she runs the don't tells up there. I run into her at a couple different festivals.
She's great.
Yeah, she's fun.
She's fun.
All right, I'm going to have to check that out. That is interesting. All right.
Yeah. I knew I was going to talk about it. I said, I'm going to bring up this garbage plate no matter what.
All right, so we've taken up an hour of your time. Oh, it went fast, though.
We're making grilled cheese now.
We're making grilled cheese. So, people can find you, Lauren D. Comedy, on Instagram. You have a brand new website out there, super clean and nice and crisp. I love it.
I delegated that task to someone who knew what they were doing.
Oh, my website was built by Shannon Kelly. I didn't do that.
Oh,
yeah. I 100% hit up Shannon, and I was like, please make this.
If I had known she did that, I would have hit her up. But
she's
I got
busy
a guy.
now.
She's very busy.
She's busy now. I got her before she was real busy.
Yeah.
So I'll put your website on. We'll tag you in this in the clips. It'll come out in a while. Like I said, I think we're like 6 weeks out or something like that.
Cool.
Because, I'd be booking people.
He's busy too, everybody.
I'm busy too. But loved having you on. Thanks for sharing your experience. I think it's going to be a real relatable one for people going through stuff.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
I'm embarrassed about your food choices, but I will. But here's the thing.
I'm not. I'm there for me.
Here's the thing. I will, and I keep saying it, I need to start getting on this. My goal is to make the recipes from everybody's episode.
Yeah.
Not all at once. That'd be fun to have a dinner party with everybody here and I make all their food.
Really fun.
But I don't have that type of time or effort to give. And but I want to try them. So I'm going to do like a little clip together, me making and trying. And I believe, so you've given me two. I think I'm going to go with the grilled cheese, obviously.
You got to be high when you have it. I don't know if you smoke, but...
I don't, but
damn it.
I feel like I'll feel high when I do it.
I got to be high when you're eating. You let me know.
So that'll be a fun one to try. So I'm going to try it the exact way. So I'm going to try it the exact way that we talked about. No, the only one I'm reticent to try. I have a friend, my friend Alex. She suggested one that has instant mashed potatoes with it, and I was like, "How dare you?" Thank you. That was my face too. I was mad at her. I was mad at her. But I'm going to try it with instant because that's what she said.
Okay.
It makes me sad, but I will do it. So eventually I'll get to all of these. Thank you for being on the podcast. I hope you had a good time.
I had such a great time. I'm all zipped up from the coffee.
We did coffee. Yay! And that's been another episode of It Gets Butter. Thank you.
Nom, 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 nom.